Hey everybody, Golf Shepherd here. Today we're going to talk about and do our second video on compensations in the golf swing. And when I say compensations, ideally you want to have an even number of issues in your golf swing, ideally zero, and I try and teach my people to have zero. But if you're going to have some issues, you want to have an even number. In other words, last video what we talked about is that if you have a strong grip, that's going to make your shots go left. And if you play the ball forward in your stance, that's also going to make the ball go left potentially. So you don't necessarily want to have a forward ball position if you have a stronger grip. So today we're going to talk about, let's say you have a weaker grip and an open club face in your swing. What kind of wrist hinge do you think you want in your swing? Is that your final answer? So what we're talking about here is what you don't want is you don't want to have a lot of wrist hinge if you have an open club face, or you don't want your left wrist cupping if you're a righty golfer. So you're going to need less wrist hinge and maybe even a little bow in your left wrist at the top of the swing. So if you have a weaker grip or an open club face, you're not going to want to overhinge your wrist. That's going to really open up the club face. So you're going to want to have a lesser amount of wrist hinge, and again, probably a little bit of a bow even in your wrist, or at the very least not overhinging your wrist. Then those things match up. If you have an open face, like a weaker grip, that's going to make your shots go right. If you have a bowed wrist or lesser wrist hinge, that technically should make your shots go more left, all things being equal, and at least those things match up. Ideally, again, I think you're going to want to have a neutral grip and a flat wrist at the top, but if you have an open face, a weaker grip, you're going to want a little bit more of a bow at the wrist at the top of your swing, and perhaps not overhinging your wrist. Overhinging your wrist will make your wrist cup. That's going to open up the club face as well.